Hey, what's up everybody, and welcome back to News Dose. So here recently, Xbox has been a little bit quiet, which is kind of odd considering just how loud they've been in recent years. But yes, they've been a little bit more on the silent side of things as of recent, but that might be changing sometime here soon. Something fans have been requesting for them to do is these Nintendo Direct-like events, and well, they might actually just be listening, so we're going to talk about that one here in a bit. Now, also, we do have a controversy to talk about regarding PlayStation. Unfortunately for them, that has been a bit of a trend this generation, as they have run into quite a few controversies, and that has once again happened with their most recent exclusive release, so we're going to talk about that one as well. First, though, let's go over some of the quick news, starting off with a game that seemingly almost everybody just kind of forgot about, and that would be Babylon's Fall. Babylon's Fall did release yesterday as a PlayStation console exclusive, so it is available on PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, and PC, but it doesn't really feel like that there's been much hype for this game at all. And when I said everybody seemingly kind of forgot about this game, I'm kind of including Square Enix, their publisher, as well. There's been like no lead-up hype for this game. I've seen no coverage for Babylon's Fall, and so far there's been little to no reviews for this game. It also doesn't help that Square Enix decided to release this, 2 weeks after Horizon Forbidden West released. Elden Ring released last week. Then you have Gran Turismo 7, that's releasing today. And then, Square Enix has another big title releasing today, being Triangle Strategy. It just feels like by this point, Square Enix is kind of sending this game out to die, and they just don't have much confidence in this game moving forward. And it really is just a very unfortunate situation overall, because Babylon's Fall, this is being developed by Platinum Games. Platinum Games typically in the past has made some really good single-player action-based games, including Astral Chain, Bayonetta, and Nier Automata, which I absolutely love. But that's kind of the thing, because Babylon's Fall, it's not like their past games. This is more of a live service title, and so far it does seem like that this is going to be a pretty major flop. Thanks to Steam Database, we can kind of take a look at the statistics here and see how many concurrent players it had on launch day, and as of this recording, we can see that only 481 players are playing right now, and the 24-hour peak was 1,188 players. This is a brand new game, so that is a major concern. This is not a good sign, and for a company like Platinum Games, they are an independent studio, so this could have a big effect on them. Luckily, they do have some other games in development, such as Bayonetta 3, so hopefully that does perform better, but this is definitely not a good sign for Babylon's Fall this early on. Moving on, it's now been revealed that one of PlayStation's newest studios, being Housemarque, is working on a brand new IP. Now, Housemarque is a very interesting studio with a lot of potential, and I think we saw that last year when they released Returnal. See, the thing about Housemarque is that they are very unique in the sense that they operate just a little bit differently. What they excel at is that arcade-like style of gameplay, and we've seen that in the past with games such as Resogun. But last year with Returnal, they somehow combined that style of gameplay into more of a big AAA roguelike game, being, of course, Returnal. And for the most part, I think that they did succeed in that. The gameplay was really fun, the production values was definitely there, and it looked absolutely excellent. It was also a well-received game in terms of critical reception, though it did have fans a little bit more split, but that wasn't necessarily because it wasn't a fun game, but rather because it did have a design flaw, and that was with its save system. Now, they've since fixed the problem. It took them a little while to get there, but they have fixed it since. But overall, I think they really showed just how much potential they have. They don't just have to make these smaller games. They can absolutely make a big AAA experience, and that's why it's going to be so exciting to see what their next game is. This time, they're going to be fully backed by PlayStation. They're going to get to use their resources, so it'll be very interesting to see what they do here next. We don't know exactly what this game is, but they did say in an interview with VentureBeat that they are indeed working on a new IP. Now, it'll probably be a little while before we actually get this game. They did say that it was in the early conceptual phase, but if you are a fan of Housemarque, you can look forward to a new IP in the future, which more than likely, I do imagine that this will once again have that arcade-like experience. They did say here that they are one of the very last dinosaurs making arcade games, so it does sound like that they might be continuing down that avenue, but of course, we'll still have to wait and see if that's the case. Now, something really interesting seems to be happening over at Xbox, and as I said before, they've been a little quiet as of recent, but it almost seems like that they might be gearing up to make some real noise, not just for today or tomorrow or the week after that, but for the long-term future. It sounds like they might have something here planned, and this is something that fans have absolutely been requesting. In fact, just a couple weeks ago, this was a big conversation within the community, and that is for Xbox Direct-like events. Fans want more transparency when it comes to Xbox's upcoming games. Now, we've seen what Nintendo can do with Nintendo Directs, where they have these digital style of events and they show their fans what's coming out in the near future, and they've had a lot of success in doing just that for years and years. Even PlayStation, they seem to be copying that formula with PlayStation State of Play. I don't know if they've necessarily got the formula down as well as Nintendo, but they do have PlayStation State of Play. But meanwhile, Xbox, they seem to be solely relying on these bigger events such as E3. They did used to have Inside Xbox, though it wasn't exactly well received for various reasons, really. One being they talked way too much, but then there was also the fact that they didn't really have many studios at this time, so they really just didn't have the content to fill these events. But things have changed quite a bit since then. They have a lot of studios now with all the different acquisitions that they've made, whether that be with Ninja Theory, they have Obsidian Entertainment, Playground Games, they also have various third-party partnerships, they have Activision Blizzard, or they're acquiring Activision Blizzard, they also have Bethesda. So yeah, they probably have the content to fill these events now, and for that matter, I mean, they also have Xbox Game Pass. That could be a segment alone, but that's the thing. I mean, we really haven't seen any signs that they're going to do these events, or at least until now. It does seem like they might be considering things now with a new Microsoft job listing, and check this out. This is for a lead director of Xbox streaming and event strategy, and it says, as the broadcast and event strategy lead, you'll be responsible for building and delivering a world-class strategy that is innovative and showcases the future of storytelling at Xbox. So the way this is worded, it almost sounds like they might be building their own events going forward, which again, this is something the fans have been wanting, and the timing of all this is what makes it so interesting. I mean, as of very recent, this was a big conversation with the Xbox community. They want Xbox to do this. Then on top of that, you have E3, and there's some big question marks regarding the future of E3, and we are starting to see all of these different publishers really start to head into that direction of more of that digital format when it comes to these style of events. I mean, it really just feels like this is the way the game industry is heading, and I mean, Xbox does have the content to fill these events now. They have so many games in development. They have Xbox Game Pass. They have the studios, so they could easily do events like this going forward. Now, with all that said, there's still not a guarantee that that's what this job listing is for. This could just very well possibly be for events that we've seen from them for years and years, those bigger style of E3-like events. So this is not a guarantee, but they definitely have the content to do this. What I will say, though, is that if they are going to do these Xbox Direct-like events, the format's going to be very important. What they cannot do is go back to that Inside Xbox format where they just have these long-winded interviews and just very little content to actually fill these events. What they need to do is just flat out copy Nintendo Direct. That's what PlayStation did, and that's what they need to do as well. Flat out copy the Nintendo Direct format because it works. Don't get cute here and try to be overly creative. No, just do what you know works, and that is those Nintendo style Directs. That's what PlayStation is doing. That's what Nintendo is doing, and you don't have to go outside of that format. Just do that, and I think gamers overall will be pretty happy. Let me know what you think about all of this, though. Maybe you completely disagree with me here and think that they should go with a different format, and that's okay. I would love to hear y'all's opinions about this, so let me know in the comments below. Keep in mind, though, that there's no guarantee on this, but if you do want to see those Nintendo Direct-like events for Xbox, this is definitely a good sign that they might be at least considering just that. Let's go talk about PlayStation now, which has kind of surrounded themselves with yet another controversy. It does seem like they've been doing this a lot this generation. I mean, on one side, they have continued to make excellent games. They just released Horizon Forbidden West, in fact, just a couple weeks ago, which, in my opinion, is actually one of the best games that's released this generation. Really like that game, whether it comes to the story, the world, the characters, the side missions are absolutely incredible. It's a great game. So, again, PlayStation has been making some really good games, and that does continue on with Gran Turismo 7. Gran Gran Turismo 7 is now released today on March 4th, and it's been well received. It does have an 87 overall score on Metacritic. So what's the problem exactly? Well, now that the game is officially out, microtransactions have went live, revealing some pretty steep prices for individual cars. Now, we already knew that Gran Turismo 7 was going to have microtransactions. This is not necessarily a big surprise. It really comes down to the prices that we're seeing here. The first thing that you need to keep in mind here is that this is a $70 game. You are paying a premium price for Gran Turismo 7. And when you pay a price like that, fans will have certain expectations, especially when it comes to microtransactions. It's one thing to include microtransactions in a free-to-play game, but when you include microtransactions in a premium-priced game, fans can sometimes be a little irritable. They will get upset about this type of situation. Now, to be clear, Gran Turismo 7 is not the first game to do this, however. With that said, whenever big AAA games like this do this, more often than not, fans are not particularly happy, especially when you see a game like Gran Turismo 7, that is $70, have $40 microtransactions. That's not exactly too micro per se. It has now been revealed that cars in Gran Turismo Sport, the previous Gran Turismo game, they did let players buy individual cars as microtransactions, and these range from about 99 cents to $5. Well, I guess Polyphony Digital and Sony didn't exactly feel that that was enough. So now a car like the Porsche 919 Hybrid 16, instead of it costing $3, which that's what it was in Gran Turismo Sport, well now, if you want to buy this car with a microtransaction, it's going to cost you $40. Yeah, that's a pretty drastic increase, and fans are not exactly happy about this. And that's not the only example of this. There's other cars in this game, such as the Aston Martin Vulcan, which costs $5 in Gran Turismo Sport, and again, it cost $40 in Gran Turismo 7. It's interesting that they're asking for that type of money compared to what they were asking for in GT Sport. I feel like that if they would have kept the prices at 99 cents to $5, not only do I think more fans would have probably been willing to purchase these microtransactions, but I imagine that there probably wouldn't have been near as big of a controversy as seeing $40 cars when again, they were 99 cents to $5 in GT Sport. So that kind of adds to this problem, but I do want to go ahead and note here, it is important to keep in mind that you can actually unlock every single car in this game without paying anything. You're not forced to buy these microtransactions. However, some fans do feel that maybe Polyphony Digital is trying to push you into buying these microtransactions because the progression in GT7 is a little slow, or at least early on in the game. So that does kind of lean into this controversy as well, and then there's also some questions about the timing of all of this. Sony kind of waited until the majority of their reviews were out before revealing the prices of the microtransactions, so there are some fans a little skeptical over that situation as well. Like I said before though, we did already know that microtransactions was going to be in Gran Turismo 7, and you're not necessarily forced to buy into these microtransactions, but I will say that this is not necessarily a good look for Sony. Let's go moving over to the poll of the day, though, and as we talked about yesterday, there's some rumors going around that 3 Sucker Punch games will be making their way over to the PlayStation 5, and this does include some long-running beloved IPs such as Infamous and Sly Cooper, but then it also includes a sequel to a massively successful PlayStation 4 title being Ghost of Tsushima. So I wanted to ask you all, if this is true, which one are you most looking forward to? And as you can see here, Ghost of Tsushima 2 did take first place with 47% of the votes, then second place being Infamous with 24%, and then last but not least, which is actually the one I'm going to vote for here, is Sly Cooper with 18%. Now, I'm not necessarily overly surprised by this one just because of just how successful Ghost of Tsushima has been. That game is a new IP, and it quickly became a fan favorite, selling more than 8 million units worldwide. So it has been very successful, so I'm not overly surprised that fans are very much looking forward to a sequel for Ghost of Tsushima, and I can completely understand why. I mean, Ghost of Tsushima is a good game. It looks absolutely stunning. It is one of the better looking games during the PlayStation 4 era, and it's also very fun. In many ways, I actually kind of look at Ghost of Tsushima, and it takes some of the things that they did good in the past, including Sly Cooper with that stealth-based gameplay, but it's just a much bigger overall game. It just seems like Ghost of Tsushima kind of took Sucker Punch to the next level, and there's going to be a lot of excitement, of course, for that sequel, and hopefully they improve on that formula. For me, it's kind of that Horizon Zero Dawn situation where I think it's got a really good world, it's got good gameplay and everything, but with the sequel, what I'd really like to see them improve on is more of an engrossing story with captivating characters. And I think with Horizon Forbidden West, that is something that they just did so much better, and I'm kind of hoping we see something similar to that with a new Ghost of Tsushima game. That's just kind of my hope with all of this, but I mean, based off of some of their job descriptions, it very much does look like we're going to see something Ghost of Tsushima related this generation. As for Sly Cooper and Infamous, though, I really do hope the rumors are true, because I would absolutely love to see these games return as well. I think both of these are good franchises, and especially when it comes to Sly Cooper, I think that would fit perfectly into the portfolio of PlayStation right now, because it just gives them a little bit more diversity. It would give them another family-oriented game, and I know that they're well known for these big AAA blockbuster style games, but it's also nice to see whenever they make these style of games as well, and for that matter, they actually do a good job at it. I mean, they do have Ratchet & Clank, Sackboy, and Astra's Playroom, all three of which are very good titles, and hopefully they can have a fourth one here with a new Sly Cooper game as well. Regardless, though, for you Sucker Punch fans out there, it looks like you all might have a lot to look forward to this generation. Anyways, though, that's it for this episode, but if you liked the video, don't forget to bell notification and subscribe button for more content just like this. Also, if you'd like to support the channel through Patreon, thank you for making this content possible. Peace out.